Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scandal, we can't buy time. You can't fool me again. Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. You touch up line and a resort to crime. You can't fool me again.
What people do in no money, what they at you in no at you. Could be money missing way in the you look at you. Use the youth the money waste for must a man to statue. Say me like a catch you but me got in a figure you. Take this spit of money gal and say that is not you. One day the man above end up him a got up. Too much it in the kitchen some a fly by like a patu. When singers and DJs and social media's coming at you.
It burn me.
300% free.
It burn me.
Garbage pile up the day.
It burn me.
Give the teacher them raise.
It burn me.
I see corruption please.
It burn me.
Mash down the people them house.
It burn me.
Every day appear arms out.
It burn me.
Appear money them a thief.
It burn me.
And them a sell out the beach.
Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scandal, we can't buy time. You can't fool me again. Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. You touch up line and a resort to crime. You can't fool me again.
For me say big up all the charities and all of the givers. Some a go like say them powerful, me no make a bigger. The urgent the promises, none of them not deliver. Cut up the youth, the rapper, they down in a whatever. Member bowl only and they lie them tell. Corruption smell and they pocket them swell. When police don't a market like Satan out of hell, go mash up people start like thief when them sell.
It burn me.
Or they treat the market man.
It burn me.
Or them a treat the cat man.
It burn me.
Or they treat the peanut man.
It burn me.
Or them a treat the dirt man.
It burn me.
Or them a treat the sun man.
It burn me.
Or them a treat policeman.
It burn me.
Or them a treat soldier man.
It burn me.
How them a treat everyone.
Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scandal, we can't buy time. You can't fool me again. Can't fool.
Stevie dim day. We in Global TV says certain kind of friend we no cape. And some informer friend we love lake. We in Global, bona fake friend and bona tape. We in Global, we not promote them, we not support them. Look at them on the cheek, come here represent for. We in Global TV, check it.
Good evening, and welcome to the People's Point of View. Thank you for joining us this evening on another program. This evening, we have a bit of twaddle to get through. We will be bringing you Finsac 101 this evening with Colin Bell and Jamaica Chief Financial Analyst Ralston Hyman. During this conversation with Ralston and Colin Bell, you will also gather understanding of the Jamaica Labour Party government and the SSL, but not as the SSL now, the previous Eagle Group or whatever they were, but you will hear that conversation. We will also look at the Prime Minister twaddle around the country of convincing us, forcing it down our throat with long spoon that crime is down. Good evening, everyone, and welcome. Thank you all for joining us. To those on YouTube, on Facebook, on TikTok, good evening and welcome to my community of party and all my family members, platform moderators, membership holders, via subscribers, commenters, and trolls. Good evening and welcome. Thank you all for joining us. You are aware of the protests of hotel workers, those who work with the Royalton or whatever it's called. A British tourist has supported the protesters. Let's listen in a bit before we move on to some good story before we go to the Prime Minister and his kafenkas.
the United Kingdom, England.
Okay, Lisa from UK.
Yep, from the UK. And I'm a guest at the Royalton.
Okay.
And I believe that the treatment of the staff is disgusting. These staff.
You can speak a little louder because the
All right.
noise.
Yeah. I think the staff deserve better. They deserve better pay. They deserve to have food and drinks during the day. It shouldn't be that they have to pay for their own food and their own drinks. It's not acceptable. And no, not even water. They're not even allowed to take their own water in. How is that acceptable? You know, we're in 2024. We're not in the back old days where people got nothing. They deserve everything. They treat us with respect. They're amazing to us, caring, considerate. They are a credit to themselves. And the way they're being treated is not acceptable. They deserve fairness. And this isn't fair.
Thank you.
No problem. No problem.
All right. You'll be here for how long?
I'm here for 2 weeks. I go to the Rio at Montego Bay on not this Thursday, the following Thursday.
Okay, so for the next 2 weeks,
I'm here. Yep.
And if there is, during your stay, if you don't see any change,
if I don't see any, before then I'm going to be emailing Royalton, giving them what for, and telling them that this isn't acceptable. That, you know, that people who pay to come here pay good money. It isn't like you're paying nothing to come here. And Royalton are obviously getting the money. Why are they not passing it on? Why are they not passing it on to their staff? That's not fair. So they need to do more.
Thank you very much.
No.
Now, I only hope the hotel workers in Jamaica can come together as a collective workforce and put pressure on their employers, as well as the government and the Ministry of Labor and Social Security. Enough of the cruel working environment that people have to experience. During yesterday's Heroes Day celebration, you all know up in Portland, the Maroons up in Portland have their celebration, and you were all aware that Chief Curry and everyone went to Portland. I think Chief Curry did something very leadership-like yesterday, and I want to bring it to you.
Invitation. And I want to say to you, that 2 years ago, that incident which took place here, quite unfortunate. And to you, sir, I humbly apologize for any misunderstandings that might have taken place. Because you see, there are fractions among us that do not want to see us survive and unite the way we ought to. So whatever it is of past, I put it here to rest today, in front of everyone looking at us. And welcome unity. Unity. Colonel Latibodir, I would like to invite you forward. Colonel Latibodir. I thought I was the newest to the table, but even though I'm the youngest, he's the youngest on the throne. But what he has done since he has come here is represented for truth, represented for unity, and represented for loyalty. And for that I commend you, sir, for taking up the mantle and doing what you ought to do for your people. It is our people. And today, we stand here in unity in the absence of Colonel Douglas. I want to invite her brother here, Mr. Douglas. Mr. Douglas. Mr. Douglas, could you please step forward, sir? Mr. Douglas, I stand corrected. you have a responsibility in your community, and your sister would have had no one else look up to help bring semblance and restore the order to your community. Thank you for your support of the culture. Stand strong with your family, and we are here to help and support you and the others in the Charlestown community. Together we stand.
You see, this is the type of unity that brings heartache to the Jamaica Labour Party, because as you understand, Andrew Holness have massive problem with interacting with the Maroon community, particularly their compound Maroons. This is the type of unity, togetherness that Andrew Holness really don't want to see. And it really have Darrell and Andrew Head really turning, because they see that the people are uniting against the worst type of dictatorship Jamaica has ever seen. Prime Minister Andrew Holness regularly walk around the country with a man who has such a big portfolio, running 3 companies and studying full time, and about to be turned with Minister of Finance, dunce and thief as him is. Hey, Jesus have mercy. It's just getting about worse in our country. The Prime Minister regularly walk around the country, draw out policeman out of them station, turn up under bridling sun with them, and point gun at them and force them to tell him, Mr. Prime Minister, dear leader, sir, crime is down. Crime is down, Prime Minister. We are doing well. And you, Mr. Prime Minister, you are doing well also. But ask yourself this question. Why Andrew Holness go around the country, go do that? So Andrew Holness turned Minister of National Security too, because all of them crime validation, yeah, when me see are going around the country. Me not see Horace Chang involved in a none of the crime validation going on around the country. The Prime Minister just walk around the country with him tripod and him camera and him draw out police, have somebody point something upon them and force them with it tells them, because crime can't down all over the country. So when we have so much mass shootings across the country, Prime Minister, how you work it out? The mass shootings across the country are getting worse. But the Prime Minister get up every day and ram kick down with throat and tell us that crime is down. And employment is up. Hey, and economy is doing well. Jesus have mercy. If you stop to listen to this Prime Minister, you never learn the truth.
Our Superintendent Samuels, Divisional Commander St. James with me, ASP Reed, Zone Commander for Zone 1 which we're in. Welcome to St. James, sir.
Thank you for welcoming me to my parish. Tell me about what's happening in the parish.
All right, since the start of the year, we have experienced a 30%.
Thanks for welcoming me to my parish. I thought the Prime Minister was from St. Catherine. I don't know.
Reduction in murder. We have had 46 less murders since the start of the year compared to last year. We are trying our best, especially as it relates to tourism, to ensure that we bring the numbers down so that we can bring the tourism numbers up. There's a 19% reduction in murders right across the country, and we are playing our part in ensuring that we continue to get the numbers down across the country. We are happy to know that, through our community interventions or operational activities and working directly with the citizens of St. James, we are seeing this kind of reduction, and we hope to continue to see if we can set the tone for 2025 to really have a record-breaking year for St. James.
You still have some hotspot communities in and around Montego Bay, in particular, and in the outskirts. What are the strategic operations that you're undertaking?
Or what we have been doing is looking at the areas that we're having the slight flare-ups. We're increasing our policing presence within that space. We have been doing some cordon and search, some curfews to ensure that we can reassure the citizens that we are there with them. And we are doing some direct targeting of the persons who are creating mayhem within the space. And we have been yielding some success. Up to yesterday, we seized one assault rifle. The operation was actually led by ASP Reed here, and one person was taken into custody. And we'll be continuing to, fight to ensure that we get the weapons off the streets here in St. James.
The St. James challenge has always been the organized violence, the gangs, the lottery scamming, and other activities. The question is, have you significantly eroded the capabilities of the gangs?
Yes, since the start of the year, we have seized over 80 weapons directly related to gang violence. Through the work that we have been doing in terms of our national coordinated roadblocks, we have ensured that we block their means of transporting, moving around within the space. Also, since the last 2 to 3 years, we've been significantly reducing the impact of the gangs within the space. A lot of these gangsters have moved to different parishes or have fled the country itself and sought refuge elsewhere. And most of them have been impacted in terms of being behind the bars, or unfortunately some challenge the police and have met their maker.
So in general, you're down
30%.
30% in murders?
In murders.
In
St. James.
In St. James.
19% nationally.
Excellent. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, sir.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
After COVID, the Prime Minister, not after COVID, after burial, the Prime Minister turned John Crow, and he getting tripod, and he getting camera, and he fly around the country, and he just have fly, because you know John Crow fly. Since that done, the Prime Minister come down a dot and turn dog. The Prime Minister just a walk all around the country, so like man dog. A draw out police out of station under bridling sun hat. Police were hungry, where you know say a cocoa bread and cheese them nyam for lunch. Police where you know say them uniform tight. Become convinced we the people say crime is done. Prime Minister, you don't say the hope of mass shooting in our country. You never hear what happened at Rockfort last night, Prime Minister. Have you not seen what has been happening in the country since Cherry Tree Lane, Prime Minister, to last night at Rockfort? And you're pushing it down our throat every day. Crime is done. Which part, Prime Minister? In which country? In which country are you talking about, Andrew Holness? Borrow the country and tell we are which one, because we know say enough for with country, and we believe say enough for with country crime down because people just a drop like flies. So the Prime Minister need to tell we which country he talk about, because we don't recognize the crime is done by this percent and that percent. Notice the Prime Minister has been doing it since burial done. The Prime Minister has been walking around the country trying to convince us that he has got a grip on crime. Ask yourself the question, where is Horace Chang? Where is the commissioner, that the minister of everything and of nothing at all is always the one who is doing everybody's job? This is not how a government is run, Andrew Holness. It is really not how a government is run, where you take over everybody's portfolio. See there, all when you're in a whole heap of money, ruckus with the integrity body, it look like I got on with finance minister. Giving the thief long bag to carry prime minister is not an acceptable thing to do. But it look like this is where we're going, heading to giving the thief the long bag, because up until today, we're still waiting for a finance minister to be announced, and Nigel Clarke will go a crack of dawn. Nigel Clarke soon gone. And all know we don't hear who take over one of the most important jobs in our government. Up until today. And Andrew Holness keep touting this great economy. The Herald, the Herald need, the Miami Herald need to retract this story. The Liard Miami Herald, we talk about superpower for the Caribbean. The Lion Miami Herald, the fake news Miami Herald, you need to withdraw that story. When you talk, say Jamaica is the superpower for the Caribbean, the economic superpower for the Caribbean, you need to withdraw it. Because after you listen to this conversation with Nigel, with Ralston Hyman and Colin Bell, you need to withdraw that statement. Nigel effed us up. And the worst thing is, Nigel effed us up, and Nigel walking off leave us very confused. Very, very confused. But it's quite a bitter conversation, so we will get our way into listening to Colin Bell and Ralston Hyman. And make sure you all follow Colin Bell on Portland Spice TV, because this video is courtesy of Portland Spice that you will hear. Portland Spice come on every Saturday morning. I think it's 10 o'clock Jamaica time. Correct me if I'm wrong, if anyone knows. I think it's 9 to 10 o'clock Jamaica time every Saturday morning. Great show, great conversation as always from Colin Bell.
Something like the reverse tax credit, never before in Jamaica's history, where the government is giving back to people who earn less than $3 million per year. Never before happened. That's a way in which we are making sure that the dividends of the good economic management reaches to the people. Yes, good economic management can yam.
Real sweet, me understand with the advert, but and so me make me look at tuppence from the advert, because my platform not get no great support. And my adverts, by the way, they're set at moderate. If I set them, when you set it at advanced, they come more aggressive because it helps us to work more money. So it is set at average, where the algorithm decides when it puts in an advert. Keep the little advert not play. We don't make tuppence, you understand? And the program need support, because I can't sit down out here all day upon hungry belly. Next thing you know, I have to go and good economic management. All right, let us now listen to Colin Bell and Ralston Hyman, Jamaica Chief Financial Analyst.
Ralston Hyman, the guru. Morning, Professor. Professor.
Yes, sir. Morning.
Morning, Ralston. Welcome to Portland Spice TV.
Yeah, man. Give thanks.
Bless up. Ralston, I tell people all the while that my respect for you, and not because me like you, and not because me didn't know you long time, or me and you grew, and not because we drink a bar together. It is because of your intellect and your ability to see the thing for what it is and call it. My respect for you has been earned, sir.
Yeah, man. Because we use data, you know? Not emotion. Data.
Data.
Yeah, man.
So,
an analyst is someone who uses data to draw conclusions, not gut feeling,
right,
friendship, or political affiliation. Like the guys that you see running up their mouth on TV and all of those things.
Dr. Gill said when you have gut feelings, you must go to the toilet.
Correct.
Ralston, a number of things this morning. A number of things. The Finsac archive has been out. That's up for discussion whether it makes sense or not. One, the government, even after Prime Minister Brogard Holness said the dollar is stable, 90 million US was dumped this week trying to save the dollar. That's where I want to start, Ralston. If you say the economy is doing well, the dollar is stable, how is it possible that 3 times in 1 week, the Bank of Jamaica had to intervene in saving the Jamaican dollar? Talk to me.
The answer is simple. The Prime Minister don't know anything about economics and he's out of touch with the economic reality. So what he's doing is going around and spread a whole lot of propaganda. The Bank of Jamaica has intervened in foreign exchange with $90 million this week to get the dollar from $159.48 to $158.83, simply because the country is not focused on production and exports and not generating enough foreign exchange in order to run the economy. Just as simple as that.
So you spend 90 million US, because we want to make that clear. That is United States dollars, 90 million to save less than $1.
And hold on, this is this week. In previous weeks, they have been doing the same thing. Remember, the dollar hit the 158 barrier. Since it hit the 158 barrier, they have been intervening. And we still reached the 159 barrier and going to 160 because the country is just not generating enough foreign exchange. The trade deficit was 2.3 billion for the first 5 months of this year because exports continue to fall from a low base because Nigel Clarke don't know anything about production and export. He's just a bookkeeper moving numbers from one place to the other.
Now, Ralston, there are some serious issues laid out here. And one other thing I want you to explain to my listeners before we go any further. Spending this money to save the dollar, does it carry a positive effect or a negative effect for the country?
Because every time you intervene in the foreign exchange markets, you waste U.S. currency and then the dollar goes back to the same level or drops even further. So it's a counterproductive, a wasteful exercise in futility and stupidity. What you need to do is to concentrate on production and exports and production for import substitution, because those are the things that are driving down the value of the dollar. The government is not focused on production. The Planning Institute now tells us that the economy is flatlined during the second quarter, April to June, 0.1%. So Clarke's growth record is very bad.
No.
Exports continue to decline back to back for 5 straight months.
All right. So we can understand export declining as well, because what happened to our agriculture base? Is that back to where the production used to be before Beryl?
No, you mad.
All right. Ralston, I don't want people, I don't want to get emotional about this, because this is very bad and people don't understand. So you spend 90 million US dollars making US dollars available.
The intervention over the last 2 months is more than $200 million.
200 million US.
Over the last 2 months.
What that do to the debt? What that do to our debt? Because where we get that money from?
Well, that is from the net international reserves. So some of those money are the monies that flowed from the tourism sector, flowed from mainly remittances. So now that the remittances are declining and the exports are declining, that is why you are seeing this massive pressure on the dollar. So, for example, when they did the first intervention, they pumped 30 million in the market, but the market wanted 76.5 million, and that is why they went back again and pumped another 30 million. And that is why they went back again and pumped another 30 million, because we are really Christmas season now, and everybody is importing.
But hold on, if it needed 76 million, why you never just pump that one time instead of go 90 million over 3 times?
Well, you have to ask the governor of the Bank of Jamaica and his team about that.
Ralston, there is no production happening.
No.
Beryl destroyed the agricultural sector. The minister said it is about $10 billion worth of damage. Have they pumped that $10 billion back in agriculture yet?
No.
When they said they're going to do that?
They'll tell you that the assistance is very slow and all of those things. And then there's also the problem, apart from the damage to crops and everything, there's also the problem with the rural road network, which was already bad. So if you talk to people like Norman Grant, the managing director of the Mavis Bank Coffee Factory, you know, coffee is one of our biggest exports. Right. They'll tell you that the road is in a devastating state and it is leading to an increase in production cost. They can't get to the farmers to get the coffee. The farmers can't move around. Right now, the people in Ugly Gap, which is one of the farming districts in terms of coffee, they say they can't leave their houses to go to the supermarket and to go to town to buy anything because the road mash up.
So how are they getting out the coffee?
That's the point I'm making. Yeah. So they're saying it is difficult to get out the coffee in terms of the maintenance of the vehicles. So the cost of producing coffee is going up and the Japanese end is declining. So the Japanese are reluctant to pay more or to buy more coffee.
Don't carry me too far
those
yet.
are the things that we're talking about. Yeah.
Don't carry me too far yet, Ralston. I want to come back to the agriculture sector.
Where coffee is a very big part of agriculture.
Yeah, man. But where I want to zero in on is the fact that $10 billion worth of damage. How much has the government put back in there so far?
Preliminarily, it's about $3 billion, and the farmers are saying their assistance is very slow. They're giving them little fertilizer here, little fertilizer there, little this, that there, little that there, yeah. And the road network is extremely important because the people have to move the thing from point A to point B.
Tell me something crazy.
Farm to the market.
Tell me something crazy. Wouldn't it make sense to pump the $10 billion as quick as possible back in agriculture so we can get production up and get the agriculture sector back to where it ought to be?
That is if you had a government to understand economics and production. What Nigel Clarke is doing, giving away $11.45 billion to win election rather than pump it into production.
So that's where I was coming to.
Simple.
That $11 billion, wouldn't it be better spent pumping into agriculture, getting the sector back up, getting farmers excited,
of course,
and ready?
Yep.
So, is it, Ralston, that the government takes $11 billion in a loan of taxpayers' money, give it away, that you're not going to get no production from it, and still leave agriculture to suffer?
That's what they did, and that's what they're doing, and that is going to lead to more imports and more slide in the value of the dollar because the people are taking the 20 grand and buy a wig or buy some imported goods and then leading to more pressure on the dollar. That's why I'm telling them don't know anything about economics.
So,
I'll say that without apology.
So they never said that they're going to run with it, but it look like they're running with it.
You know, they're flying with it, not running with it, flying.
$11 billion.
When them say Mars run with it, is a bridge them their billion. Which has value for the country.
Plus Highway 2000, I think, was a part of it.
Precisely. That's the point I'm making. They are spending the money on consumption. They are flying with it. Remember, the airport money, them used to do that. So I fly with it.
Ralston, I still staying with production for now.
Yeah, because economics is fundamentally about production. Economics is not fundamentally about collecting taxes and paying down debt. Economics is about production and distribution and creating employment. That is what economists do. Bookkeepers talk about paying down debt.
No.
Nigel Clarke is a bookkeeper.
No, Ralston. Is there any country around the world that you could point us to that has used this model to recover and grow by over 3%?
No, you can't. And that is why you look at the numbers, they say the economy is declining. We're now at stall speed, not around the car shut down. The next thing that happens is a drop over the precipice.
No, man, is the plane going to drop? Got the plane climb and it's stall now.
Precisely. That's the point I'm making.
It need petrol, more rev to go forward.
The petrol is production. Production. You can't grow without producing. Simple. That ABC, that 101 economics.
But I'm not suggesting for any minute, people, that we could produce in agriculture enough to turn around the economy. But we could produce to stop buying some of the things we are importing, isn't it?
That's correct. The food import bill was almost 800 million for the first 5 months of this year. That helped to drain the foreign exchange. Yeah, we could be producing more to reduce the food import bill. We could be producing more energy to reduce the energy bill because that is one of the biggest bills. We could be producing more and doing research and development to reduce the amount of imported capital, raw materials that we are using in the production process. We could be producing more so that we can export more cocoa, $7,500 per metric ton globally. If we're producing that, we'll be making money. We could be producing more as the manufacturers tell you. Them could be producing more if they were getting more inputs from the agricultural sector, because one of our basic imports, exports, agro-processing, all those things. So the fact that agriculture is down is crippling the economy because a lot of the things that we export are agricultural based.
The Prime Minister said crime down, but we learned of Rockfort yesterday. There's a shooting on North Street, 2 unalive, 1 serious injury. But Andrew Holness, the crime is done. But continue to listen because this is a great conversation. It put a lot into perspective.
We could reduce the amount of killing taking place in the rural areas if we had the man them deal with sophisticated agriculture rather than dealing with scamming. So that would also reduce the amount of money that we have to spend on security.
So the bridge, the road building,
tap up the screen, man, people, and take
Monty
tap
go be a
up the
perimeter
screen.
road. I see the Prime Minister making big out of it. I see he's out there saying that we're going to build a new airport in
rubbish. I am rubbish, promise. So why you deal with the thing them now? So like I tell your wife, say, yo, baby, the next year me I go do this, me but say, yo, pick them on some food right now, the toilet to fix that also and pay. But I tell them about the future, more I hear about now, because if you not deal with the thing them now, how you deal with future things? Them things that just can't be good.
Give us a little bit on the prediction going forward, Ralston. The next quarter and the first quarter of next year. The next quarter,
the economy will decline. The plan is to tell them 0.1% for this quarter, 0.8% for the first 6 months of this year. Barbados grew by 4.4% for the first 6 months of this year with a debt to GDP ratio of 115%. Jamaica crawled by 0.8% for the first 6 months, 0.1% for the last 3 months. The next thing is decline.
How many bad information have we gotten from this government? They told us that the travel advisory on Jamaica by the United States would not affect Jamaica tourism income. We now heard Nigel Clarke in the supplementary saying that it did affect Jamaica.
Right. Yeah, misleading information. Then we tell you why Prime Minister Brogan was telling people that the dollar stable. The dollar dropped to $159.48.
While he was saying that it was stable.
While he was saying that, the very minute that he was saying that, that was what was happening. So there's a whole lot of cluelessness and propaganda. If you notice, most of their psychopaths are now silent because them see the results are play out. Then nobody talk about the economy. That's why they switch to Finsac now, because them now have the economic record to talk on. So they Finsac now.
They post the Finsac archive to try and muddy the water.
Yeah, man.
Let's go there.
Yeah, man.
The Finsac archive, Ralston.
This is where it gets interesting.
No, it don't make any sense because I'm spending $150 million. All the shot.
Hold on. That $150 million was spent when? 2016?
Yeah.
Or started in 2007?
It started in 2009.
All right. The question I want to ask you before I go any further. What is the value of that $150 million now?
Tap up the screen and TikTok. Tap up the screen. Tap up the screen, please.
$400 million now.
So it was good money.
Yeah, good money at that time. At that time,
exactly. And that's why I asked. And that's why I asked you to compare the value. What that would look like now.
That's why I'm telling you, like $300 million at that time. The exchange rate was 76 and change. We're now 150 and change twice. Yeah.
So we spent close to half of, well, let's call it 300 million. Look at it as 300 million. And we got no report.
Yeah, but I'm saying that the dead minister was saying that the report is going to be published. The report is going to publish the Great Holness Show.
But I was reading an article this morning. And from the article I was reading this morning, Ralston, there are still people in the parliament that makes part of that report. And in fact, in the article, Omar Davis was saying that he might call out the names of people who were sitting in parliament at that time. And I'm saying those people are still in the parliament now. Do you believe it's a conflict of interest why a report was not produced?
Yeah, man. No, me not believe. Me know that. Remember, I mean, used to shadow Omar in us, so I know everything will take place. Yeah, man.
So, the archives out there, isn't this also a recipe for confusion?
Nigel Clarke did that as part of the political, just like when he did the 11.4 billion, that was part of his final shot, political propaganda. That's why I'm going to rate him. Yeah. Yeah, rate Nigel Clarke.
No, Ralston, I know you don't rate him, but you have to give him some props because the man and navigate the thing in a way that if you don't open your eyes, you will believe that he's the best thing.
Yeah.
He speaks well.
Well, that's somebody who open eye have more experience than him. I'm not rate him because I'm not say appear foolishness and matter him bankrupt the country. The fact that you have to spend 12 billion of money where you not earn it. 12 years of money where you not earn it, and then you take the money and do foolishness. You bankrupt the country. If he was a real scholar, he would have read about Professor Paul Samuelson. Paul Samuelson is the uncle of Larry Summers. Paul Samuelson used to be the economic advisor to U.S. President John Fitzgerald Kennedy. He teach at MIT and Harvard. He said, the surest way...
Echo, no one understand why me said this is why Nigel get the job at the IMF, because Nigel learned how to F up the Jamaica economy. And this is what the IMF want for Nigel to force those brutal economic policies and developing world. The IMF and World Bank not employ you if you're excellent. Them employ dumb, crooked criminal like Nigel Clarke.
One generation can place a burden on the next generation is to leave a massive debt and to run down the human capital and physical infrastructure of the country. As Justice Sykes I tell you, everything in Jamaica run down. Courthouse run down, road run down, bridge run down. The people in the gap now, them can't get to go buy some food. You follow me? So, rubbish matter. Yeah, you spend future earnings for consumption today. Yeah, so you tell your wife, say, yo, never borrow some money when we forget 12 years from now. You spend now. She sensible, she knows in the future that's for the people them. A bankrupt, you're bankrupt. When you have to use future money, it means that you're bankrupt. Nigel can't bankrupt the economy and leave the economy in decline.
I can share the live
infrastructure. So we can rate it.
What is the importance, though, Ralston? Because there must be some importance of the tax return. Is it?
There's no importance except political, man. What can be the importance of that? You use future money to give it out. And you know, spend, if you spend upon courthouse them and the road them and productive base of the country and big up agriculture and big up the road them and big up the school them and big up the courthouses them, then that makes sense because those things will help us to earn money in the future. When people get them money, all the rest of them are head for the rum bar, them are head for the shop, them are head for the hairdresser. I just wasted money.
I said to somebody the other day,
they don't say, them children's money they must spend. As Bob Marley said, you eat your bread off tomorrow.
But what I said to some people, that anybody who is in need, who need $20,000, will not be able to get this $20,000.
Correct.
Anybody who needs, not want, needs $20,000, not in a position to get any.
It's an outrageous vote buying exercise, man. A squandering of the future.
Man. But Roxanne, people said to you, say Guyana is giving $1,000 to every household.
Yeah, why Guyana is doing that? Guyana is the fastest growing economy in the world because of its mineral and oil resources. That's a completely different thing. They have the money, them can afford it. Them not giving money with them not earn it. Them are giving money with them earn already, and them know so them are going to earn a bag of money down the road. Guyana is the fastest growing economy in the world.
So let's explain.
Hold on. Apart from Haiti, Jamaica is the slowest growing economy in the Caribbean. Remember that.
So hold on. So Guyana is giving that money from money that they presently have.
Yeah, man, oil resources.
Right.
Guyana full of money with them oil resources.
So we'll make it simple to the listeners. This $11 billion that the government is giving away, they don't have it.
They must sell the revenues that they're supposed to get from Norman Manley Airport for the next 12 years in order to get them money there.
What was that revenue used for leading up to this giveaway? And we're going back to
it used to go to the consolidated fund, the budget, and then use it and do all kind of things.
Anything that the government wanted.
Precisely.
So it's not. So does the government have enough to do all that they want to do?
No.
So
remember, Nigel Clarke couldn't fund the 45 billion on the budget.
Hello, my people. When I don't make me start. This is a brilliant piece of information from Colin Bell and Ralston Hyman. It explains the Finsac debacle. It explains the economic debacle we're in, even though Nigel Clarke and Andrew Holness continue to lie to us of how great of an economy we're in, how well the economy is doing. We can't sit down and hear these classy information and hit the like button. Walk to no finger. Let me ask you something tonight. What is wrong with you all fingers? I'm sure there's no glue on them. I'm sure on a finger them work. Because when a finger works, so no turn on fi come over here. What we're asking is that you support the program by hitting the like button, sharing the program, so more people can come along and support the program and learn as well. Because I'm sure a lot of what Ralston Hyman is telling us, we didn't know it, isn't it? Let's continue to listen.
It's a good start, So this is the source that I'm getting the money from.
So this is a straight political gimmicks.
Yeah, man.
So they are using the country's resources for the future, for political expediency.
Yeah, for win election. No, simple. Put it straight.
Are the people seeing that, Ralston?
No.
You are on the radio every day. No, not every day. 5 days a week.
We have to make the people know that is a squandering of the future, but average man not see. So it is our duty to let them know, because we are the fourth estate and we are here to protect the country. We are there to protect the political party and a guy. Yeah?
It's about Jamaica.
Yeah.
What is the opposition's responsibility in all of this?
Tell the people what the government is going to use the money for and to tell them of the dangers that is going to have for the future. Simple.
And the people are going to listen to them?
Well, them have to do it. So them can't say, boy, the people have not listen, so we not talk. If we never said that, we would have stopped talk already. But we have to talk. Yeah, repetition is the best form of pedagogy. So you have to repeat it.
Yeah. Play it like a tune.
Yeah, man.
Because the truth is the truth, and that's what we talk here on a Saturday morning.
Precisely.
We're talking to Ralston Hyman, the #1 financial analyst in Jamaica. He's on Power 106 every morning, real business from 9 to 11. Check him out and understand what is happening in the financial sector in Jamaica. Ralston, we know we're on Finsac, but this is something that has been on my mind for a couple of weeks, and I have to put it to you. You, Ralston Hyman, have been saying for years, a long time we talk, and you've been saying that Dr. Nigel Clarke was running the economy in favor of our banks. We also saw where Jackson brought table legislation in the parliament to change some of the ways the bank deals with the people. It went to a vote, and the present administration voted against it. So they voted in favor of the banks to continue to charge us for deposits and withdrawal and to keep our money. Now, we have seen where the Prime Minister, because the chairman of the Integrity Commission said what they put in the report is not opinion. They are facts. So we see where the Integrity Commission said the Prime Minister is actively trading in stocks and bonds, doing business with the banks and seen as one bank as a premium client. Does that now come back to what you were saying, that they were running the country in the favor of the banks? Are those
so we all knew that. We all knew that. When the Jackson bill came up, everybody in the government came to Parliament and voted against the bill. You with me? We also, right now, even greater evidence right now, the Bank of Jamaica recently reduced the benchmark rate or the signal rate from 7% per annum to 6.5% per annum. And no bank has announced any rate reduction to any of their clients. Instead, they have raised the fees. Nigel Clarke spent a whole lot of time in the Parliament last week, and he never called upon the banks to reduce their lending rates to their clients. What is that telling you? The economy is in a recession, and the banks have not reduced their benchmark rates. the Federal Reserve Board, the American Central Bank, which is the most powerful independent central bank in the world, reduced their rates by 50 basis points. The IMF and the World Bank says this now gives countries like Jamaica a chance to reduce their rates in order to accelerate growth. And the banks, led by Mrs. Audrey Tugwell anyway, the president of the Bankers Association, none of them reduced their fees, their lending rates. Instead, they reduced their fees.
They increased their fees.
Every single one, including the miscellaneous one. And the minister spoke in Parliament, and the Prime Minister has been going around making all kinds of promises. And none of them called upon the banks to reduce their lending rates, fully knowing that you can't talk about economic growth with this kind of lending rates in the banking system. So it tells you. Simple.
Ralston, let's go back to Finsac now. We could go back in.
And there's a correlation between Finsac and banks, because it's the banks that created the problem with Finsac are part of the problem. So they are the ones, it's the banking system.
Ralston,
very important information coming up.
The DNA of SSL for me. Can you?
Well, one of the biggest contributors to the financial meltdown was the Eagle Group. Yeah? SSL was formerly what we call Paul Chen and Company. That was the stockbroking arm of the Eagle Group. You with me? Yeah, the man who used to run SSL, Mr. Cross Perry, he was the man who was running Paul Chen and Company, the stockbroking arm of the Eagle Group. So that's where it came from. They went down with 14 billion and change for the taxpayers.
That is in the Finsac era.
40 billion Finsac money that we're talking about. To them amount was $14 billion.
14 million.
Billion.
So hold on there.
Billion. And if we equate that to
14 billion, the cross-scrape. The cross-scrape them where you say take down Bolt and the others investors' money. In the Jamaica financial collapse, they went down with billions for investors. All them do, them change them name and them come back as a new thief. That's all them do, you know. Change their name and come back as a new thief. That's all they do. Same Labour Party then, same Labour Party now.
Today's money.
That would be like 50 billion now.
Oh, hallelujah.
Yep.
Real money we're talking about, because back in the day, the dollar was better valued.
Yeah, man.
So the DNA of SSL come from down there, sir.
Yeah, man, from the Eagle Group.
The bloodline.
Yeah, man.
Now, I said to you earlier, there are people presently in the parliament that was bailed out by Finsac. Isn't that so?
I'll tell you, yeah, man. That's why you can't get the report.
I wonder if any of them persons that are on the PNP side who got bailed out from Finsac.
No, not right now.
Well, I said nobody on the PNP side never get bailed out from Finsac.
No, not right now. Yeah.
Oh,
not who's in the current PNP setup.
So which side then upon? I don't know. But people in the parliament.
I have to tell why the report can't be published and why I get transcripts instead of the report.
Are you confident, Ralston, that all the material unearthed by the inquiry has been uploaded to this archive?
No, man, then Nigel Clarke saying redact some of the information, man, and take out some of the information, because we would have followed the thing. At that time, I was the financial editor of the Sunday Herald, and we know of people who borrow money from Central National Bank and say them forgot to pay. $30 million US dollars. Them kind of $30 million US dollars are enough more money.
The American born?
Of course.
Oh, an American born. Borrowed 30 billion.
I will know who was the accountant in the place when he said that.
Well, and 30 million, right?
30 million US dollars. There might be enchanted gardens in your place, like Carinosa.
No, man, in a Ochi.
Yeah, center and Ochi.
And I said to you, Ralston, and that was the project that Port Antonio was destroyed for. The tourism sector in Port Antonio was destroyed to ensure that Enchanted Gardens was successful.
Correct.
Down there in Ocherios.
Yep.
So you see the history, people. And then the man forgot to pay the loan.
Yeah, and we know who was the amateur accountant in the office when they forgot to pay the loan.
Oh, it's,
so
it's
get the,
but
get the report.
Is somebody in the parliament who was the accountant?
Yeah, the amateur accountant at the time. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yep.
So can we then really say that there's a full archive of the Finsac from the Finsac inquiry?
No, then Nigel Clarke will tell himself, Nigel Clarke himself to the people themselves not publish everything, man.
So, man, then keep that. Or anybody going, I heard some academics talking about it and said that they are going to now look at it. But what can they find from it if everything is not there?
They never find nothing.
Because if
and them should even have to look on that to find out nothing. Because if them did not follow where I go another country then time, then would I know so this is just rubbish.
Ralston,
yeah?
Remember break up. What caused meltdown in the 80s and 90s? Because that meltdown started from the 80s.
All right,
what caused it?
Yeah. In 1989 when the government changed, February 2nd, 1989 when the government changed, right? Mr. Siaga went over to the Bank of Jamaica. He was Minister of Finance. Remember, I used to have a bogus auction at 550 when he used to tell man, say, you can't come at the auction today, you can't come at the auction today. It was a market determined, a bogus auction. And then the dollar start moving and go over Bank of Jamaica and tell the man, and say, boy, the dollar will fly. Right? So when a finance minister says something like that, say it has impact on the market. So the dollar starts fly to 650. Right? Then the PSOJ, the same PSOJ, that's why I never hear nothing from the PSOJ about this Finsac thing. Then tell Michael, say, yo, just liberalize everything and free up everything. Right?
Yeah.
So September 1990, we liberalize the economy. It means that you can go to the country with the amount of money and all of them things, right? You never have no appropriate regulations in terms of the banking sector. We never have no net international reserve. So you hear enough money talk about net international reserve, enough of the money. When at that time the reserves were minus 500 million US dollars. You hear me?
So we never have no money. We owe money.
We're underwater.
We owe money from the reserve.
Precisely. So the Bank of Jamaica couldn't intervene at the foreign exchange market like what have reserves and them can't intervene now. If I make a Omar make them can't do them thing, Yes, and that's it. All right.
Yeah.
So as a result of that, now after liberalization, the dollar dropped from 7 to 21. Inflation jumped to 80%.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a proliferation of banks and merchant banks and this and that and all kind of something. You follow me?
Yeah.
Right. So when Omar became finance minister in 1992 now, because inflation was 80%, and jack up the interest rates. Yeah? So I saw you find out the high interest rate regime. So it was a combination of the premature liberalization, the high interest rate regime, and the thieving bank of them, because two of them know them now have the regulations to regulate now. Them do all kind of things with the people and money.
Yeah.
So if you notice, every bank at that time have a big building. So you notice the Eagle Group then build this massive complex of a manor park.
Yes.
Yeah. Then Rylands build this massive complex, Corporate Merchant Bank build this massive complex on Trafalgar Road. Yeah. Central National Bank, this massive complex downtown. NCB Group, massive towards them. You see the towards them, Mutual Life towards and all of them things. So they might take the people their money and tied up in a concrete. When you put your money in a bank, demand deposit being set. If me put my money at the banks now and go to the road and turn back and say, more about the money, I'm supposed to be able to get it back.
Of course, yes.
But when them take the people their money in a building now, them can't give out the people their money now and then resort to the BOJ to borrow money.
Because these banks were no longer liquid.
Precisely. Yeah, so they have to borrow from the BOJ. So after them build up all of this thing. Yeah? So people go now and them can't get their money and start a run. A run on a bank means a man go and say, yo, you know, so go to so I'm gonna get no money, brother, and I'm telling friend them and friend them.
And everybody start go for their money.
And all so the system start collapse. It starts with Blaze Trust and Merchant Bank. The first part CVM there.
Yeah.
And then for Blaze Trust and Merchant Bank that was for them complex.
Okay.
Then, in 1994. Then it got to Central National Bank in 1996. Then Workers Bank, the Corporate Group, then the Eagle Group, and I saw the whole deck of cards come crumbling down. So you hear a lot of people know. Then I've claimed that Finsac was the problem. Finsac was the solution. Finsac was formed on January 29, 1997 by Omar, headed by Dr. Glaston Bonnet. What Finsac was to do now is to take out the bad debt them where the banks them have. Yeah?
But hold on, Ralston, before you reach up there, sir. you mentioned those banks. At that time, there were other banks in Jamaica. We had Scotia was in Jamaica at that time.
Yeah, man, you have Scotia and Citibank, and none of them banks never go down because them banks they are the prudent things. Them man never get themselves mixed up in other world for garbage.
What you say a while ago? Those banks were doing prudent things.
Yeah, because they have to get instructions from them headquarters, so them never do the foolishness where them outside.
So what were some of the foolishness that these banks were doing?
Yeah, me I tell you, I build up a whole for a big building and them thing there, and I pay themselves one bag of money. Delroy, Lindsay, Dan Crawford, Paul Chen Young. Get me I said to you, yeah. And you have all, as I said, man, I borrow money and say them forgot for pay.
So hold on. When the man borrow the money and forgot for pay, the bank never take the asset where you secure the loan.
No, that is what I say. When the bank gets Finsac now, then all of them things take place. Because it was a friend and company business. Everybody are breaking. You know, so you have all man who get all 10 banks the same collateral. So you use a car and borrow money and get 10 banks the same car.
Hold on. In the Integrity Commission report, they were saying that a loan of $50 million was given on some securities that weren't even present at the time. That sounds similar to this.
Them to that do the financial sector crisis, man. What about?
But that's what I say about it's something in this report here sounds similar to what you just explained.
Yeah, man. That's the point I'm making. Yeah, man.
Continue.
Same thing. So that one. So when Omar found Finsac and the Dr. Bonnet, what Finsac, I take off all of the bad loans them and the bad debt them and try to sell them to get back the money that the Bank of Jamaica extended to most of these banks. And even after we get it back, the taxpayers have had 40 billion because the government have to pay out everybody and make sure that the people who have their money get back their money, insurance policies and all of them something. Yeah, if the economy that collapse, it costs us $140 billion to make sure that the system that collapse. And all of them money who culpable runway. So why Nigel Clarke tell people why them money runway? Why Paul Chen Young did runway? Why Dan Crawford runway? Why Delroy leads the runway?
PNP run them or PNP runway man them?
Oh, okay.
No, sir.
Yeah, okay, I hear you.
Ralston. So here we are now at this place. Have we learned from that meltdown?
Well, people like me learn. I don't know if the man them who not publish the report learn anything because they might use the politics. And what we should have done is to ensure that the people of the country learn a lesson from that. But when you hide the information or try to politicize the information, yeah, it now learn nothing. Because one of the questions more I ask Nigel Clarke, how is it that the Omar record better than your record off of Finsac? I asked him that yesterday and tell him to call me and tell me and Arnold still can't call me and I said to him again, man, bro, God. How is it that Omar's economic record better than full record after the terrible things happening at Finsac? So for example, when Omar took over as finance minister, we never have no reserve. But I believe it was $2.4 billion. Mm-hmm. When Omar took over as finance minister, after Finsac, we're talking about 2007. How come the economy only grew by 3%? The last time the economy grew by 3% in 2007 after Finsac. How come poverty was 9% after Finsac and now Nigel Clarke poverty are more than 20%? How come the economy grew by 3% after Finsac and Nigel Clarke rate now is 0.1%? How come? Yeah?
But hold on, Ralston, you just said poverty
screen and
is
TikTok,
20%.
please.
Yeah. But how explain, make this make sense for me. We have the lowest unemployment ever in Jamaica.
Right.
But poverty is up. Poverty is 20%.
Because what you call employment? What kind of work the people, man? What the cost of living? After Finsac, inflation was 5%. Inflation is now 5.7%. Nigel Clarke needs to explain them things.
I want to ask you something about.
Since you're a magician and a genius, you need to explain all of that.
Help me with this, Ralston. In the 90s, before the meltdown and during the meltdown, what were the structures in place to supervise, protect the banking sector?
We never have none, and that is why Omar upgraded the banking. That is why Omar created the Financial Services Commission. That is why Omar created the Jamaica Deposit Insurance Corporation. None of those things existed before Omar became finance minister.
What is the role of the Financial Service Commission?
Is to regulate the non-deposit taking institutions such as insurance companies, securities dealers, and them kind of people.
And that includes places like SSL.
Yeah, man.
Now, Ralston, I want to take it to a
Brian
place.
was the first executive director of the FSC. The point I make here is that Omar Davis built financial institutions and also had a better economic record. Nigel Clarke has built no institution and him run down the country to nothing, bankrupt the country.
But I want to reach a place, because I am seeing something and I want you to tell me if it is valid. So the FSC, when the SSL saga break, the chairman of the FSC resigned. You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Why did he resign? Can you remember?
You know them fired.
Why?
Because them said him talk out a turn.
You remember when Mr. McFarlane had to resign because Nigel came out in crowd because Mr. McFarlane did his work, sent over a report to Nigel that SSL and other financial institutions are in problem. Nigel Clarke lied that he did not receive the report. Mr. McFarlane came out in public and said he sent the report to Nigel. Then Nigel creep under the desk and Nigel find the report with a lot of cobweb and dust on it and then brush it off and open it. First word to Nigel. Continue listen.
You remember?
Nigel Clarke fired him. Everton McFarlane.
But was it that they were saying that him never report on SSL?
No. Nigel Clarke said he couldn't find the report.
But when Nigel Clarke found the report in his office, what happened?
Nothing never happened.
So
he not address it. In Nigel Clarke never said more about SSL until you said about that was the money where they have.
But the man, the chairman.
The 5 computers then get keys. Whatever you're not from Nigel Clarke.
But Olan Ralston, the chairman was fired because they are saying that he never do him work. No, sir.
Well, that's not true because the man sent the report to get him.
No, we know that no. But even after he was fired and the report was found, it just goes up.
Yeah, nothing was done. You said the last time Nigel Clarke talked about SSL when you send both the other day saying they get back the money. Even them keep the 5 computer, whatever you learn from Nigel Clarke.
So we have the Finsac archive. We have a similar case that happened now.
Yeah.
Even after safeguards were put in place.
Correct.
But will Usain Bolt get back his money, Ralston Iman?
No, unless we the taxpayers give it back.
Will that have an impact on Jamaica if him not get it back?
Yeah?
Will it have an impact on Jamaica if Usain Bolt don't get back his money?
Well, now quote, in answer the question, now quote Nigel Clarke himself. Mr. Speaker, this is going to have a deleterious impact on Jamaica's international image. And that's why we leave no stone unturned. We're going to bring in Scotland Yard. We're going to bring in FBI. Yeah, Nigel Clarke.
What, 3 years later?
Yeah, man.
3 years later,
Usain
Bolt not get back his money.
We'll get back in money.
And Nigel Clarke is going off to the
next week. He's running away next week. Yep.
How does that look? Does that have a good international look on a proud nation?
No. Could never.
What is the way forward, Ralston?
Well, right now, the way forward is that the people of Jamaica have to examine everything, look at them life and see said the country is bankrupt. The infrastructure, in terms of physical infrastructure, is in rubble. The educational infrastructure is in rubble. Only 18% of our children can pass more than 5 CXC subjects. So I tell you that the future is bleak and that they need to make a particular decision based on wisdom and not by just selling their votes for the $20,000. They must realize that their future and them children and grandchildren's future bigger than $20,000. And then make that appropriate decision.
When are we going to see a ramp up of any sort of production in Jamaica so that an economy can be grown out of real earnings?
Well, I mean, it is very hard to tell you how that is going to happen under the current dispensation because Nigel Clarke is leaving and the whoever becomes the new finance minister, I'll just follow what him did do.
Let us
because what Nigel Clarke was doing was approved by the Prime Minister. So again, the people have a decision to make as to whether this is what they want and whether this is appropriate for them.
Because all of Nigel Clarke's decisions are cabinet decisions, right?
Yeah, precisely.
Which have collective responsibility, my brother.
Yeah,
that is it.
Yeah, man. So the people have a decision to make whether they want to continue like this. Yeah, no production, no future. The only thing you're producing is murder and scamming and those things.
Tell me, though, Ralston, it's closer now to that time. Who is going to be the finance minister?
Well, I hear they're touting this fellow named Alak Jean.
Name what?
Alak Jean, an Indian fellow. So they have not told us officially, but we hear that in the rumor mill. Alak Jean was an accountant and used to work with PricewaterhouseCoopers, who they say is an advisor to the Prime Minister. So if he's an advisor to the Prime Minister and these are the policies that are being pursued, as I say, you're going to get more of the same.
Yeah, that sounds correct. Yeah, but I've never heard this name before.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. We used to work with Pricewaterhouse. I knew his father was.
So he's gonna be the junior minister.
Yeah, man.
That's not the question I ask you, Ralston. Who going to be the minister?
Well, I don't know who is going to be the minister because it is difficult for the Prime Minister to become the minister with his record and his current problems with the IC. That would be a very bad decision, and that's something that the people of Jamaica must not accept.
Cannot accept that.
Yeah,
he must clear his name before him can become no finance.
Jamaica, are you listening? Are you listening, Jamaica? Because it looks closer and closer every day that Andrew Holness will become the new Minister of Finance. With a Prime Minister tied up in the court, a Prime Minister tied up with the integrity body over his finances, a Prime Minister who his statutory declarations still cannot be verified, is quite likely, Jamaica, to become your Minister of Finance because the Prime Minister pick up paid dunce coming out with Parliament. We can't even read legislation or report to the tune of the creme de la creme, as they put it, the sliced bread of finance and economy. Dr. the Dishonorable Don Stephen use government money put to foundation Nigel Clarke with your money laundering, have destroyed the economy. If our sliced bread, if our creme de la creme could have done this to our economy, I mean, if Stephen Andrew take over the economy, what do you think Stephen Andrew is going to do? And you know, say Andrew finger fasten upon everything Andrew touch.
Finance minister around here. In fact, he need to resign as Prime Minister and go clear his name. Much less to take on anymore.
Well, yeah, man, I agree 100%.
So if we say good sense going to prevail and the Prime Minister not going to take it up, then who?
Well, I don't know. That's the problem, and that's the one thing that is leading to a loss of confidence in the country because we have been on autopilot in terms of our finance minister for quite a while. And
who is the junior minister now?
There's no Xavier Main or something like that. Well, yeah. So there's no body of consequence.
Xavier Main is the junior minister, but I've never heard him spoke on the issue.
No, man. Nigel Clarke run everything, man. Nigel Clarke run the country.
But then even since Nigel decided to leave, I think him should have put some responsibility upon him and
yeah, of course. But again, them not have confidence now, so they might look elsewhere.
So why did they put him there as junior minister?
I
don't understand.
Yeah, that's why they might look for someone outside because them not have confidence now. So that don't make sense.
Somebody's saying that with all the turmoil and the information coming out now in Jamaica, they think Gene and Panton should be released from jail.
Well, boys, they might really have a rather sacrificial lamb, brother.
You think Flavor will go and get the nod?
No, man, that would have been a monumental exercise in stupidity, man. You can't manage the education ministry.
All right, so if not Fieval, then Ralston, who? Give me a name.
I don't know, sir. I can't tell you because
this is a financial analyst that cannot predict who within the government ranks that is qualified to become the next Minister of Finance for Jamaica. A critical post in our government, the purse string of our country. The country is left without a minister of finance, a capable minister of finance. The country might well be left to Andrew Holness, who is in a debacle over his finances with the integrity body. He's likely to become your finance minister, Jamaica. What a sad indictment on a country.
The argument was that the Prime Minister would go there and they would have Alak as the junior minister, but the Prime Minister can't go there.
Cannot touch it.
No.
Not paying tax, accused of not paying his taxes, filing nil tax of a company that doing business. He can't look over there.
You can't go there, man. If we do that, we'll come like a banana republic.
Getting a loan in recent time from a financial institution.
But Colin Bell and Ralston Hyman must remember that we're talking about Donald Trump. Baby Trump. Baby Trump break all sort of rule. From Baby Trump was in the opposition, he's been breaking rule when hand out undated letter to Christopher and Arthur Williams to sign, so Andrew can sack them when him ready without their knowledge. This is the Andrew Holness he has always been. Andrew Holness not change. Andrew Holness, if anything, just get wassara.
I'm going to clear him name first for the IC before that carry, man.
I'm on there. I say Holness are taking it, you know. I'm on there. I say Holness taking it.
Well, that would be a very bad situation, brother. And if we allow that, it means that we're not dealing with nothing.
Ralston, a couple of things before I let you go. What is Jamaica's earning on average now? What in compared to US annually, what we're earning?
Just about 6,000 per capita.
$6,000 per capita. The average Jamaican
earns.
The
lowest in the Caribbean, only 80 below.
Per year. My God.
Only 80 in the Caribbean below.
Only 80. And we're boasting a GDP of what? Debt to GDP of what? 70%?
72%, and I'm saying I'll go down to 67%.
Ralston, final before you go, explain to my people before me. Because there are countries that have low GDP, countries like Trinidad and Tobago, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia. And you wonder why their GDP is so low, and then you sound like Jamaica's GDP going down is not a good thing because you have countries like the United States where their GDP is like 125%, China nearly 200%. Explain to me what happened in that scenario.
The countries the fastest the highest debt to GDP ratio are the fastest growing economies in the entire world, because the whole thing about government intervention, President Biden's initiative and all of those things help to drive GDP higher. So if you look at the fastest growing economies, America is 125%, China is 263%, Japan is 258%, the United Kingdom and Great Britain, who call mother countries, 100%, France is 107%. All those economies, the top economies in the world.
Hold on, the Derek Plummer, don't face the with patty shop. You never hear how when Juicy Beef go America, how patty sell out and how franchise sell out by the snap of a finger. Andrew Holness have 49 teeth and him can't find a finance minister to replace Nigel. So don't mix up patty shop. Patty shop are the whole of foreign Derek Plummer. Patty shop doing well in a foreign. So don't mix up Patty Shop and Andrew Holness broke down Dolly House.
Well, them have high debt to GDP ratios because them have good social security programs that have to be funded by government. And them have proper infrastructure, proper education, proper this. That's why them grow faster.
And when they borrow, they put it into production.
Simple.
All right. So
that's why them grow faster.
So tell me about the countries with the low GDP, the Kuwaits, the Trinidad, the Saudi Arabia.
You know what is peculiar about all those countries? Them have oil.
All right.
Simple.
So them have income coming in. They're generating their income.
Precisely.
Them have their own money.
Everybody have to buy oil because we live in an energy-intensive economy. Simple. Answer to them things are simple. Them things are simple economics.
And Jamaica's economy now, what is happening to us in terms of our GDP, where we need to go so that we can live a better life?
We have to start producing more. So it means that we have to be spending more on agriculture, the rural road network, spending more on education, more on research and development, focusing more on exports. You with me? Those things. Build out our infrastructure, build out our technology, educate our people properly. Because if you don't have educated people, you can't have high value production. So that's why, despite the low levels of unemployment, the people support, because they're not in the work. Them don't want to China send things from China, yeah, or a talk on phone to people. That is not high value work.
Wow. Somebody's asking if the Prime Minister have a degree in economics.
You have a degree in TV.
No, you have some in some form of development, something like that, I'm saying that.
Oh, okay. Ralston, anything you want to leave with us before you go?
Well, what we're saying to the people of Jamaica, the fact that you have to be selling future earnings to fund current consumption means that you are getting poorer and poorer. It does bring it to a household level. If you have to spend money when you're earning in order to live now, it tells you that you need to start producing more because you are bankrupt. Simple.
Ralston Iman, Real Business, Power 106, Mondays to Fridays from 9 to 11. Blessings and thanks, my brother.
All right. Always a pleasure. Bless
One
up.
love.
Bless up.
One love.
Yeah.
Jamaica, we country mash up. We don't hear it. Despite the lie where them a tell we about this brilliant economy, we country mash up. Our country is in bankrupt. Carlos Gray, wagwan, bro. Our country is in bankrupt. This piece of information from Colin Bell and Ralston Hyman, one cannot add to this much. This is something we want to figure sleep and think about. Because despite the government, just like how the government I tell you, say, crime down, murder down, and people are just being massacred across the country. Left, right, and center. The government has been cascading and rolling, use long spoon to push it down our throat. How well our economy is doing. Them get them liar thieving friends at the Miami Herald for write article talk about them a superpower of shithole countries and all that. Them get them friend in the London Times or the Financial Times in London for write say the wall for envy Jamaica finance minister for such a glorious bounce back from the shenanigans where them did lock with down inner. All this time they were grooving Nigel say, frick it up, Nigel, frick it up, because when you fuck it up, we will give you a job at the IMF to go on and fuck up a few more countries across the Caribbean and a few across Africa. That's why Nigel got this job. Nigel not get this job for help developing countries. Oh no, why do you think they would have given Nigel a job to help developing countries when Nigel, with him creme de la creme sliced bread experience, come and crush your economy and walk off after spending millions on a Finsac report, and Ungo come give us a crocus bag of litter that we figure search through the rubble and find out what happened in there, and we're going in there and we feel come up with our own understanding of what the whole Finsac debacle mean. Because instead, Finsac was going to expose JLP, the Siagas and the Ardeshas and the whole of them. See the SSL run off with no money. SSL run off with you all money in the Finsac meltdown, in that economic meltdown. Millions of it, SSL run off with, our billions of it. And see they know how much SSL run off with where they, and SSL is going to register under another name and come and thief with all over again. Come in on love sue SSL. Come sue me for so a thief. Because I know the first on a thief from old people, from poor people. Huh? So, you don't have to go come sue me. Because the same thing your SSL is highway robbery. Because you can't keep melting down and run off with poor people money, then afterward you just create a new company under a new name and a group of people money for thief again. I hope Jamaicans are paying attention to these crooked banks. Members are leeching of a big wash pan, scrubber board, blue bomber and Sudsill. Leeching a wash money for Andrew Holness. That's why Andrew Holness couldn't stop his finger and leeching open account over there for him, and Bird just fly over from SSL and drop money in an Andrew Holness account. This is the man that could likely become your Minister of Finance with the whole of them financial crook that advise him how to F up the country even more, because the Prime Minister knows that him only have until next year, September 11th. So, Andrew, make sure so when me can thief, me mash it up before me go away. Andrew Holness and Nigel Clarke mash up with economy. And Nigel Clarke and Andrew Holness sit down, and every minute they want to go off on a tangent. They talk about SSL, not SSL, Finsac. See they know Finsac come in a one crocus bag of rubble. And me not see Labour try dig through if they find anything. Why are they so silent on SSL and the Finsac? One of them they are push Finsac all along. But anyway, my people, that information, if you don't want to rewatch it again, go over to Portland Spice. Subscribe to Colin Bell. Colin Bell push out powerful information on a Saturday morning. So make sure you hop over to Portland Spice. Subscribe to Colin Bell, because I'm sure he will be bringing much more brilliant interviews and breakdown like this. Because Andrew Holness and Nigel Clarke don't remember, say, there are many qualified Jamaicans in our country. Many qualified Jamaicans in our country. So, you can tell we the duns, they lie them, but there are people like Ralston Hyman who brighter than you, Nigel Clarke, and will be able to break it down so the public can understand. Say, a long time when I have on the same group of friends, them a thief with Nigel Clarke. This SSL scandal is nothing new. They've done it before. They have done it before. It's nothing new. But anyway, my people, thank you for being here tonight. If you haven't hit the like button yet, make sure you hit the like button before you exit. Continue to support the program. The program needs your support. It's not hard. We're just asking for like and shares. So continue to support the program. And remember, we're also back on TikTok as well. So make sure, want to support us on all platforms that we're on so we can continue to spread the word and put the message out there and continue to work for a better Jamaica. Thank you very much for being here tonight on the Global Television Group. It was lovely to have you here. Join us back tomorrow morning, where we will have our At a Glance program. We will continue to look at the issues that plague our society. We'll continue to call for Andrew Holness to name the Minister of Finance, which will take over from Nigel Clarke, as well as we will continue to ask the Prime Minister to step down, or better yet, Prime Minister, give the country a general election. Thank you very much, and good night from the Global Television Group.